In your introduction, you said that would be a documentary film, but it hadn't a conventional plot. It hasn't a conventional plot.
I said
Why-
it won't be. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
But there isn't also a conventional plot. So why do you choose this kind of plot? That
Yes. Well, I said it's not a documentary because sometimes when the first impression of people when they see the film, because it's very realistic with the way the kids are playing and raw, they have the feeling that maybe they are kids from the village, and I just went and capture some moments of their life. So for me, it's important to let people know that this is totally fiction. The way it doesn't have a conventional plot for me is because the idea was, what if you put these kids in a no man's land? So because they are so isolated and there's no exit, then the day is like repeating itself.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find little moments to show their feelings or their aggression, their violence, how they live in this space when there couldn't be like a plot of he has this dream and he follows this dream or something, because this is not the reality itself.
yeah.
So I wanted to show the reality of living in that space when every day that passes is like the previous one, and how they manage to live and what they do in this time, which is not easy. It would be easier for me to make a more conventional plot, but I really wanted the audience to receive that feeling of being there and how it is to be stuck there, and
Actually, for us, it was, for me and the other guy from Greece, it was like seeing our reality, our daily routine in the big screen. So, can you tell us something about you and your studies?
Yes. Well, I didn't decide that immediately after I finished high school that I wanted to be a director. I really like watching films and I loved cinema, but I thought it was very difficult and I was kind of afraid of that. So in the beginning I followed my studies as an electrical engineer in the university, and then when I was at the third year, I said, okay, I will do that. I want to make film studies because it's something that I love, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. I can still be an electrical engineer. So kind of decided as because it was my big love, and I want to know more things about that, and I wasn't afraid that maybe, okay, I'm not gonna do any movies, but it's fine. But then, since I started studying, and after I never stopped. So after I finished my film studies, I started working as assistant a lot in movies, and I tried to make some short films, and now I'm here with my first feature. Yeah.
So, in the future, you will choose again something from the Greek reality and the Greek problems, or something about global society?
Well, for me, to tell you the truth, I don't feel that Park is about Greek reality so much. I feel that it's inspired to me personally because I live all these years in Greece and we felt all this problem with the crisis. So it's something that we cannot avoid it. It's in our everyday life, this feeling. So maybe, also my pessimistic point of view for things is because of that. But I think the way I chose the plays, I think that the nice thing that happened is that people are related to that, not only feeling that it's about Greek reality, but feeling that it's a no man's land, that it could be somewhere else also. And not even somewhere else, but also some other time in life. So it's funny because for us as Greek, it tells also something about, the history of the last 15 years. And all this, what happened about, and also in the games, that we were so proud that we're going to bring the games back to their hometown, and this is going to be very important and for the Greek people and for our pride. And the irony of that the games were in fact kind of the beginning of the disaster. So it tells that, of course, for the Greek people, and it has this cynical comment about Greek history. But I think it's a movie that you can see it like 5 years after, and it's just a no man's land, with the interesting thing for me that it's not a no man's land that came out after a war or after an economic catastrophe, but it was a no man's land that came out of the games, out of a big show. And for me, this is, an interesting, that a show passed by there for 10 days, and it was, if you imagine if you remember the images of the games and all this crowd and stuff, yeah, and then a few years after, it's the outcome of it. So it's an interesting story, that I think.
So, can you tell us something about your next project, maybe?
I cannot tell anything really because I'm just in the very beginning of it. The only thing that I found it similar with this one is that there's also a space that is kind of strange, but this time it's not even based in any realistic event, because here, is what I said also yesterday in the introduction, that at least this is there was a real event, that this place exists and they gave it to poor families. Although the real space is not like this, like the Olympic Village is not what you see in the movie. I constructed the village, so we see some spaces that are inside the village, but most of them are also other Olympic facilities outside the village. So in fact, not even this one is a real place. But in my new film, it's going to be totally fiction, but it's going to be a weird place and the stories of some.
And all of the kids in your movie, they weren't actors, right?
There are a few, like the main boy and the main girl, and one or two that were from acting schools. But this is their first film appearance. And all the others are kids from schools. They're from 12 until 17, 18. And we did a huge casting process. We went to school, dancing school, on the street, immigrant schools. Many of the kids are immigrants. And we saw more than like 500 kids.
I've seen the film that the girls had a lot, and some other children had a lot of scars on their skin.
Yeah.
The scars are natural, or were natural, or it's just effects.
Well, some scars in some boys, they are natural.
Anna?
But Anna, because it's the story of the character that she was injured and she stopped playing, they're all fake. She didn't have any scars.
And the second one is, did you find easily equipment in Greece to suit your movie? For example, was it the state of the art, or you used the older cameras and something?
No, we found, and I was kind of like we had a normal budget. We didn't have the budget we want to make the film, but we did have a quite good budget to make the film. So we had equipment and stuff.
In general way, you just rent equipment for some people in Greece, or you buy it for yourself?
No, you rent.
You rent?
Yeah. There are like 4 or 5 Alexa. This is an Alexa camera, but we rented because we did the raw. It was the first time the material is raw. The first time Alexa in raw. Then we had to rent some equipment from abroad because that doesn't exist in this equipment didn't exist in Greece, but only one small thing.
Sofia, can I ask one more question about the content of the film? I see it was, as you say, so realistic that it hurt a lot. Is there any window, in the film? Is there any optimism in there? Any hints of optimism?
Well, what I try to do with the ending of the film is that I try to open one window through the protagonist and how the last scene ends. Like there is a moment of realization for him of his own struggle and of his own quest for a father figure in a way, because this is kind of the story for this kid in the film. So you feel a little bit relaxed in the end of this scene that he didn't go till the end doing a bad action, but he had a moment to realize what he's doing. But then I bring the balance of pessimistic again by going back to the game. And in fact, a game that looks more sad than the beginning of the film, because it's like the beginning of the film when we have the first game of the kids. But here it's also a game, but the game is being played by a crippled person with the injuries, and he's hurt. So it's like you have the feeling in the end that the game is gonna keep on going, but every time it's gonna be a little bit more hard. Yeah.
I would like to ask one more question.
Yeah.
Since we make short films in high school and we're in theater and such, I know that it's quite hard to organize a group of young people, especially between the ages of 12, 14. So, how was the work dynamic with the actors? How did you manage to?
Well, the way I chose to work is that apart from the 2-3 actors, the other kids didn't know the script. And I did that in purpose. They knew only that there were a group of friends who live in the Olympic Village. And every time I was describing myself each scene. So I was telling them, now we're in the showers and it's very hot and you cannot go to the beach to have fun, so you have to stay in here and you want to open the water and have fun. And we were creating the scene together. I was the only one who knew what's the meaning of the scene. They didn't know anything and they didn't care. So they were free to just play. And that was good because then everybody was revealing his character. You know, I wasn't forcing somebody to be the strong, the leader, the funny, the bad, you know. I was letting them play, and every time they were doing something that is good for the scene, I was saying, okay, this you're gonna remember it and you're gonna do it every time. And like this, we did like 6-7 months of rehearsal, so we started making a choreography of every scene. And when we went to shooting, everybody knew exactly what he was doing. But they never were afraid or forced to make a meaning out of it. Like they never, for them it was always a game. Like I will do this that Sofia likes a lot, this this joke or this stuff, and that gave them a lot of freedom because they never even realized the pain. When they saw the movie, they didn't believe that the movie was gonna be violent, because every time for them that was just a game. So when they saw the movie, they were really sad because they thought it was very aggressive, the movie, and they didn't realize it when we were doing the scenes because everybody was just having fun inside the scene. But because I let them free, sometimes there were beautiful things that they did that then I put it in the script. Like when the little boy is making the dog, this was not in the story. So because I described the scene and I told them when we do the shooting it's going to be a pit bull with us and the pit bull is going to bark and it's going to be very aggressive, the fighting. So the little kid imagined that and he started playing, making fun of the pit bull, and he was playing the dog in the rehearsal. So I go and I tell him, this you're gonna do it every time. Because I thought it was brilliant for the movie, like because there's all this allegory about the kids and the stray dogs. And so I go and tell him, and you're gonna do this. And he was like, no, I don't like this. My knees are hurting, I'm on the floor, I don't like it. But I never explained him why this is so good. I didn't want him to have all this information, like, there's some. He didn't even know that there are dogs in the. He saw the pit bull only the day of the shooting. So that's the way. I was trying to focus on the meaning, but I was letting them be themselves inside the environment and not have all this, it's a no man's land. And no, they were just, kids.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I